Let's talk personal jurisdiction, which, as the name suggests, is jurisdiction over the person, or as commonly known as PJ. What does that mean? I'm here to help digest complex concepts into simple explanations. At the end of this video, I will include a chart that I made while studying for the bar exam, the uniform bar exam, and which helped me visualize these concepts. Now, I will break down that formal definition into 3 elements: contact, relatedness, and fairness. I will also show them in subcategories from the perspective of a person, a corporation, and land. The person will be me, Fabiola, from Florida. The corporation will be Fabiola Inc., and the land will be my property. Element is contact. What is contact? There are 2 sub-elements in that: purposeful availment and foreseeability. And contact means whether the defendant has purposefully availed him or herself to the state and whether that availment was foreseeable. When looking at the person, you have to satisfy those 2 sub-elements: purposeful availment and foreseeability. Suppose I was sitting at home yesterday and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go on a road trip to Tennessee. I'm located in Florida, so plane tickets are a little bit expensive. Why don't I go on a road trip? I decide to go on the road trip. It takes like 11 hours to get out of the state of Florida. I'm on the turnpike listening to my 3rd playlist of the evening, and then I cross over the Florida-Georgia border. And while I'm there, I'm not paying attention and I rear end the person in front of me. That sucks. So now that person who becomes a plaintiff decides to sue me because I knocked over the bumper of the car. So what happens? My accident incident occurred in Georgia, but I'm from Florida. Can Georgia hear the case of me as a defendant? So they start to think, was I purposefully availing myself in Georgia? Yes, I was on a road trip. And it's foreseeable that persons from different states cross over state borders and have accidents. That's a very common thing. Now, corporation. A corporation can purposefully avail itself by doing business things like advertising, entering into contracts. So Fabiola Inc. is incorporated in Florida and it has its principal place of business in Illinois. The corporation conducts its business selling cleaning supplies across the United States. They do this by advertising and attracting clients. Fabiola Inc. invests in print advertisements, TV advertisements, and radio advertisements. But they don't advertise in all the United States. They select the states that they want to. They select the cities that they want to because it's more likely to have customers one way or another. Now, my corporation, Fabiola Inc., has purposefully availed itself into these different states. And it's foreseeable that a lawsuit can arise in one of these states, and there would be personal jurisdiction. Land. Now, land doesn't really fall under PJ, but it's important to note that the court always has jurisdiction over the land where it's located. So if my property is located in Florida, that is where everything will occur. So element number 2. Relatedness. This means, what is the relation of the claim with the location? We go with the person. Me, Fabiola. Now, for this analysis for relatedness, it has 2 tiers: specific PJ and general PJ. Specific PJ is where an actual incident or event occurred, and general PJ refers to the domicile. So going back to my example where I rear-ended the plaintiff in Georgia, that Georgia would have jurisdiction over me because that is where the accident occurred. Now, what about general PJ? Where am I domiciled? What does domicile mean? Domicile means where you live and where you have the intent to live indefinitely. Legally, that means where's your license issued, or your federal state ID, where you are registered to vote, where your motor vehicle registration is. There's different avenues to prove where you are domiciled. Now, what if you are a college student and you decided to go study in Massachusetts, which is where I went to undergrad? I always kept my domicile in Florida. I never changed my license, my voter registration. I voted in all the local elections, but through absentee. Now, had I changed my license from Florida to Massachusetts while I was there, that might be a little different. But if you haven't changed your license, your domicile is likely where you are coming from. For a corporation, the specific PJ would be where the incident occurred. Now, what about general PJ? Where is the domicile of a corporation? A corporation is an entity. It doesn't walk around, it doesn't live and breathe, but it does have a domicile. It actually has potentially two. Where the corporation is incorporated and where the principal place of business is. Sometimes they could both be in the same location, but other times not. So, Fabiola Inc. was incorporated in Florida, so the court would have jurisdiction in Florida because that is the place of incorporation, and a court would also have jurisdiction in Illinois because that is the principal place of business. Now, what is the principal place of business? Where the headquarters are, where the main activity occurs. Land here again, jurisdiction is where the land or property is located. Okay, and finally for the third and last element for today, fairness. What is fair? For this analysis, I will combine both the person and the corporation. If there's specific PJ, you will have to do another mini analysis, and it includes checking to see the defendant and the witnesses have the burden to prove that if the case were to take place in Georgia for the accident, if it would be severe disadvantage in the litigation. You also have to look at the state's interest and the plaintiff's interest, so it's a lot of communication within all the parties. Now, if it's general PJ, there is no question about fairness. Now, as I promised, I have included here the chart for all you visual learners of what I used when studying for the bar exam. Good luck studying!